call this beat Will Smith, cause it slaps hard. Hear it not when I pull up on your boulevard.
She goes on a date with you, she has a great time, and then she tells you, oh, by the way, I'm actually seeing another person. What do you make of that, and why did she do that? I'm going to be answering that question from a guy that wrote me, who actually commented in a live stream of mine about this girl. He basically, they're in the same run club, and so he invited her out, and then she flaked last minute, so I guess they were able to eventually make a date of some kind happen, and then this situation happened. And so I'm going to answer that question. As always, guys, if you need help with your dating situations, leave comments down below or write me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And check out the website for ebooks, audiobooks, etc. Okay, so let's get this guy's message. He says, hey, Harry, I've written comments in your last couple live streams about a flaky girl from my run club. Well, fast forward a week, and she came over this week for pumpkin carving and a great kiss/makeout at the end of the night. Fantastic. I'm glad you were able to make things happen. I'm glad you're able to get some physical kisses out of this too, because hey, some guys aren't even able to make that move on a date with a woman. So the fact that you did, fan-freaking-tastic. So he says, she was giving all the signs of attraction and said she had a great time. So I reached out 24 hours later and she said yes to a second meetup. I want to pause there because anybody that watches this show knows I typically advise you guys to go on dates and then wait a minimum of 4 days before you initiate contact with the woman. If during that time, she happens to initiate contact first, that's fantastic. That's an indication of her interest starting to build at a high level, but you should not be hitting up women 24 hours after a date. That is way too soon. In my experience, I have found that by waiting a little bit, I usually get better results. Your results, of course, may vary, but that's what I found my experience to be. But anyway, so she said yes to a second meetup. Then later in the day, she said she had to be honest that she's talking to someone else. I played it cool and will not contact her again, but I'm pretty confused. What do you make of this? So these are the texts that she actually sent him. So they had the date on Monday. On Tuesday, he texted her and said, great seeing you last night. We should do it again sometime, which again, I advise you guys to be more patient than that. Women that have high interest in you aren't going to be mad or upset if you happen to hit them up 3 or 4 days after you've seen them, unless they're extremely structured or have like issues with like they're feeling they have low self-esteem, they're less than, and so they're always looking for validation, in which case, also good, you want to suss those women out early because they become headaches to date. Anyway, he sent that message and then she responded with, yes, so fun. I hope the pumpkin survived the kids in the cold. Pretty funny. So then he says, yep, survived all 2 trick-or-treaters. When are you free? Oh, by the way, so he wrote to her Tuesday night at 7:56, and then she wrote him back the next morning at 4:51. So a little bit of a delay there, but we don't know what she had going on that night because it was Halloween night when he contacted her, so we'll give her a grace period. And then but she responded at 4:51. He responded 4 hours later at 8:43, and he said, yep, survived all 2 trick-or-treaters. When are you free from your house sitting duties? I was thinking about making that bonfire soon. I guess they must have talked about a bonfire. So he's already going into asking her for another date, which is great. Like if you're going to, he shouldn't have contacted her so soon, but if she's reaching back, then at this point there's a back and forth going on, at which point you should say, hey, so like I had fun. I'm busy this week, but next week I'm free on Tuesday or Wednesday. Like you still want to set it up in the future because you don't want to try to set up something like immediately right away. Like they went out on a Monday, so him trying to set up for like a Thursday or Friday of that week, being so early on, and on the fact that they're in the running club together means that would be too much. So he should have probably proposed, hey, I wanted to see if you're free sometime next week, either Tuesday or Thursday, to meet up for a bonfire. But anyway, he asked the question. So then that was at 8:43 a.m. She gets back to him at 6 p.m. Now, she prefaces it by saying, hey, sorry, long day in the office. And what I tell you guys is that women sometimes are going to be legitimately busy, especially if they're like teachers, lawyers, doctors, whatever, if they have an office job, that even if they have their phone on them, the reality is they might get thrown in the day. And they might also think, man, if I text this guy back, he's going to want to have a back and forth conversation, and I don't have time for that right now. I have time for this after work, all right? So I wouldn't say this is too off. It would have been nice if she could have responded a little bit earlier in the day. But again, if she's working, she's working. And at the beginning of the relationship or the dating process, you're not going to know if that's a lie or not. Like if she was really busy all day or if she was just trying to think of a way to reject you. But in either case, I give kudos to this guy for not doing what a lot of guys do, which is trying to send follow-up texts. Hey, are you still there? Or why aren't you responding back? Is something wrong? Like he kept it cool and waited for her to respond to his text that he sent. So at that point, she says, sorry, long day in the office. And then she says, I need to be honest and let you know that I've actually been talking with someone. I had so much fun Monday, but also felt guilt because I wouldn't normally do that. And then he said, no problem. You know where to find me if you change your mind. Then she says, sorry for not being all the way transparent right away, but wanted to be sure to do that. And then he said, don't sweat it. I appreciate the honesty and hope things work out for you. Now, the way in which this ended, it's in a nice little package. It sounds all nice and whatever. And he did a good job of not freaking out too much at her. I do want to point out a few things though, okay? So for starters, the reason that she actually was willing to go out on a date with you and have you over and carve pumpkin stuff is because let's say she's talking to this other person. It's probably very early in the process, which means that nothing is locked down. She said, I'm talking with someone. She didn't say I'm in a relationship with somebody. She didn't say I'm exclusive with anybody. All she said was that I'm talking with somebody. And I tell you guys all the time, this is normal. When you first meet a woman off a dating app or you meet her at a party of some kind and you go out with her a couple of times, there's a good chance she's probably also entertaining other offers. Women that are highly attractive will probably have other suitors coming to them. And for women, it's like, I need to find out which one of these guys is going to be best for me. So yeah, I'm going to take all these options, the ones that I feel could gel with me, and I'm going to give them a shot and see what's what, right? So that part is actually normal. So I don't think what you think like, oh, she was cheating on me she was cheating on the guy she's dating with. Like that's not what happened here. She's talking to somebody means she's starting to know somebody, right? Now, I do want to point out something very important here is that even though so on one hand, the fact that she's pointing this out, it's letting you know that there's another party that's interested. But what she did not say with this at all is I'm not taking up any other offers or I'm not still willing to see you. So here's what's going on in her head. What's going on in her head is probably in the past, she's probably either dated a guy and then unbeknownst to her, the guy had a girlfriend on the side, or there's been times in the past where she was trying to see more than one person during the dating phase and then one of the guys found out and got butthurt about it. In either of those situations, it results in, okay, when she dates from now on, if she comes across another suitor that also has potential, she's going to be like, okay, you know what? I need to let this other guy know that there are other guys in the running for my affection. That way, all the cards are out on the table. And if it makes him uncomfortable, then he can go away. But she did not say, and now I can't see you. She said, I just want to let you know that I'm talking to other people. You know what my response would have been? I would have been like, okay, great. When's the wedding? Ha, ha, ha. And then she was like, oh, that's so silly. We just started talking. It's only a couple weeks, whatever. And I'd be like, okay, great. Well, you know what? You guys aren't serious yet. And right now, I'm also trying to figure out what I want. So if that involves me and you going out a couple more times while we both figure it out to see who's going to get what, then that's fine. And if not, no harm, no foul. So I wouldn't have necessarily been the one to take myself out of the running. I would have just, because my thing is this, right? If she tells me this, if she comes to me and says, hey, just so you know, I know it's been like a couple of weeks, but I am talking to other people. In my head, I'm thinking it's the first 3 months of dating. I'm also keeping myself open to other options. Whether I tell her about it or not, I'm already on that program. So if she happens to be on the same program, then I do not care because neither of us have established anything serious with anybody that we're seeing yet, which means from now, she's going to go have a fun time with him, and then she's going to come and have a fun time with me. And at some point, either she's going to narrow down if she wants me or not, but I'm also going to be narrowing down if I want her or not, because while she's seeing other people, I'm also taking other offers and also talking to other people. So this wouldn't have deterred me necessarily from keeping myself in the running. Like I would have basically said, hey, it's up to you. If you want to continue to see me and also him, no harm, no foul. I do not care. But I will say the fact that she brought it up, it does indicate that she may already be starting to feel strong feelings for this other person, even if she entertained the offer. So that's what you got to balance. You got to balance if you can realistically hear her say that information and then be able to say, but she's just talking to that guy, just like she's just talking to me, nothing serious, so I will continue on. Or if having the knowledge of that is going to deter you. There is no right or wrong here. You could be that guy that's like, hey, if I hear she's talking to anybody else, I just can't be there. I just don't happen to be that guy because I believe in abundance. I believe that at worst case scenario, she comes to me after like another date and says, hey, so I decided on that other guy. And I'll be like, okay, great. I'll just go check out one of my other options then, but best of luck to you. So I'm still glad that he responded the way he did in terms of like not appearing butthurt, but I also feel as though maybe he took himself out of the running too soon because she's going to only respond with what he responds with. So when she said, hey, I just want you to know that I'm talking to somebody else, and the guilt that she felt was she felt guilty for not letting him know that there were other guys that were talking to her. She doesn't feel guilty for going on a date with him, if that makes sense. So at the point that he responds back, oh, you know where to find me if you change your mind, he's already saying to her, I already assume you picked that guy, and so best of luck to you. That's not actually what she was trying to convey. But, you know, women have emotions, and sometimes trying to convey emotional things with word things can make them, they're trying to talk to guys about this stuff, and guys are very literal. So when we hear, I'm talking with someone, what we read is that she's talking with somebody, and therefore I'm no longer there. And she said none of those things, you know? So that's a decision that as a guy you have to determine. If you can handle the information and still date her, and not feel like, oh, if I date her now, I'm just wasting money and resources and time. If you feel that way, then push her off and don't see her anymore. But for this dude, you're going to see her again. You're seeing her in running club. So you're going to now that you're in running club with her, you're going to eventually be able to see in the process of running with her if her and that guy stay together. But I'm just saying, like, you pulled yourself out of the process. If you can choose to do that, and I totally get why guys do that, but she's not the one that pushed that on you. I'm just saying. Because even when she said, sorry for not being transparent all the way, wanted to be sure to do that, she just wanted you to have the information. I'm just letting you know that there's other guys I'm talking to. That way, if on the event that you find out, you won't think that I'm lying to you or that you're butthurt about it. She did not actually say, and I want to stop seeing you. So you probably could have still had the date. Like, she's probably saying, hey, before I agree to another date, I just want you to know I'm talking to another person. If that's going to affect things, then let's not do this any further. If you'd have just been like, okay, great, so does that affect us still hanging out and talking to each other, or what's going on, then maybe she would have gone through with the date. Maybe she would have realized, hey, you actually were the guy that she had more fun with and whatever. Like, but the good news is this. You're in the running club with her, so you're going to see her enough times in the course of being in the running club to where if she starts to change her mind or if she starts to have more feelings towards you versus this other guy, then she can be the one to bring that up. But at this point, you've already kind of turned that away. So in terms of your question of what do you make of this, hopefully what I've said here has helped you kind of better decipher what was actually going on. So in my head and what I'm reading at the moment, it doesn't look like she was actually turning you away. It just looked like she was giving you information, but I get why you read it as such. And if you're the guy that can't handle that, then that's totally fine to look towards other things, all right? So hopefully, guy, this helps you out. Again, this is my interpretation of the situation. You're in it, so your interpretation and what your understanding of things are may vary. So for the rest of you guys, if you want my help with the situation, you can write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. I definitely appreciate emails. You can also leave comments under these various videos. If you want to sign up for one-on-one coaching or get one of my ebooks, audiobooks, or programs, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, click on the coaching tab, or click on the products tab. I would love to be able to help you out. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class